So should I look at the screen at you or just look up in the camera? Look at you.
Welcome to the Business Today show. My name is Kelly Kingston, your host. And with me today, I have a beautiful, amazing woman. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. But what I am going to do is I'm going to let you know why the Business Today show. The Business Today show was created so that we could interview high-profile, sustainable business owners that have sustained themselves in their businesses for longer than 2 years. And so we get these beautiful business owners to come on the show and ask them a series of questions, and out of those questions we source tips and tricks for people that are struggling in their business so that they could actually hear different thought patterns that possibly could be going through their mind about where they're currently in their business. So we want to be able to support startup business, 6 months being in business, or even longer, for whatever reason and from whatever platform. So that is what the Business Today show is all about. And so my beautiful next guest has been in business for quite some time, not currently in business, she's in transition, but she is heavily into community, and I can't wait to be able to share her story and just her journey and her passion to strive to support people in community just goes beyond all measures of unconditional love. So without further ado, please make welcome the beautiful Carolyn Vincent.
Hi, Kel.
Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Hello, I'm really, really good and so happy to be here, catching up with you after quite a long time.
Yes.
We're lots on Facebook, but like Zoom is as good as being in the physical now.
I know. We used to catch up every Sunday morning. Remember that?
Right. At Northey Street Markets.
Northey Street Markets.
And laugh so much. I think the whole of the markets knew we were there. It was real fun.
We used to fight about who was going to pay for breakfast or our coffees. No, it's my turn. No, it's your turn.
Yeah, no, that was a while ago, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. Really happy to be, and quite a privilege to thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. So what we do on our show is I just ask you a series of questions, and I know you're currently not in business, but you're a successful businesswoman, and I know you never started off as a businesswoman. So I just would love for you to be able to share your journey, you know, where you've been and some of the milestones and where you currently are now. Because it's an honor to actually know you, and you've taught me so much about being in business and staying grounded and still holding that pureness of don't lose yourself amongst the busyness of being in business. So are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready, but you keep cutting off every now and then, Kel. So I just missed that. Are you ready? And it went like a blur.
Okay, are you ready for the first question?
I am ready. Ready.
Okay, so my first question is, when did you first step into being in business?
Okay, so I got married in 1988 and I came here to Australia from Mumbai. I grew up in a very working class family. My dad was in the army. My mom worked in a job. And I married my husband, who was a seasoned businessman over here in Australia. And so I got married to a businessman, and that's how I got into business. That's simple as that.
And so what sort of business did you get into with your husband, or what was he?
So we did a whole series of different businesses, but primarily it was all retail, mostly retail. And our last business was Luggage Direct, which was a pretty big retail luggage outlet. We had 13 stores at the most time. Yeah. And that was, yeah. So what was your question?
So when did you get started in business? So you met your husband was the businessman, and he pretty well much supported you in understanding his business so that you could then be in a family business together, because you're in business for 22 years.
That's right. Like slept business, ate business, drank business, everything business. Business 24 hours of the day business. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but that's pretty much what we did for. And you know, they say, Kel, this is a really lovely quote, which is quite relevant to business owners that start off, that 70% of the fuel for an aeroplane is used in takeoff. And after that, only 30% is needed for cruising. So starting off a business is when you need all that energy. And once you get to a certain point, then your business cruises. So it's the effort that you've got to put in the beginning. So and that's what it takes to build a business. You know, it doesn't come easy, but yeah.
I actually really love that analogy, and that's so true. Like the effort you have to put in the names, the domains, the marketing, the sales, the website. You know, you and I both know from, you know, when you started your coaching business, when we both supported each other in different times in our businesses, that it is, and it's 70% takeoff.
70% of the fuel is used in takeoff.
That's crazy.
Mm.
And so what was one of the biggest lessons that you learned in business while being in that business for 20 years with your husband?
I guess the biggest one was, and I stumbled upon it, and ever since I learned that lesson, for me, business took on another meaning altogether. So up until that point, which was in 2005, I did business purely to make money, like we all think business is about, and it's absolutely, you're there to, if you're not making money in business, you better not be in business. Well, you won't be in business if you're not making money for too long, but that is definitely one of the main aims, to be in business. But I realized that when I created a higher purpose, or I found out what Simon Sinek calls your big why of your business, then business takes care of itself and the money happens. It becomes a byproduct of you discovering what your why is. And your why is also what helps you when you get down and you get, you know, things are not working or you're overwhelmed with stuff. And if you know what your why is, that's what lifts you up, and it carries you through the bad times as well. So it's a very important part of, I would highly recommend it to anybody starting off, to first discover what your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? You know?
So you really basically have to love everything that you are doing.
Yes, you'll end up loving it, but I found that when my why was something bigger than making money for myself and my family. My why was to make a difference in the world with what I was doing. And I woke up in the morning fired up with that. And I went to work fired up with that, and I communicate. The other thing I did was always share my thoughts. I never kept them to myself. We had 17 staff. I shared my why with my staff. So suddenly it became our why. And when your staff get that you are about something bigger than just making money, well, then, you know, there's fuel to the fire, and people really get fired up as well. It's quite an amazing, it just flipped the way we did business.
So I remember now a story we had once where you actually added value to your luggage business. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I grew up in India, first of all, and from the time I was a young girl, I was very impacted by the poverty in India, because I grew up in quite a nice home, but when you went out of the streets, there were beggars everywhere. So I always had this, you know, ask myself the bigger, more existential questions of life. Why am I here, and what's my life about, and why all this injustice in the world? And I always had this, I wanted to do something to make a difference, but I didn't know what to do and how to do it. And so I always had that in the back of my mind, even when I got married, came here and was doing business for some 10 years or 12 years before I discovered this. And one day when I was walking into my business, I realized, and I used to have these moments, Kel, through my business, we'd be working, you're so busy, and then you have these quiet moments when you're just sitting and having a cup of tea and resting, and I would think, geez, there's got to be something more than making money for my business, you know, and I just couldn't put my finger on it, but it was there niggling in the background. And I realized that for me, the epiphany was, I can use my business to make a difference. I don't have to go to Africa and do voluntary work. I can actually make a difference every single day by who I interact with, the people, how I treat them. My staff became my family. They became my community. Suddenly I took out the hierarchy in my business. Me and my husband were bosses. I one day went, so from here I went to circular as community, and I started basically, without realizing it, creating a sense of community within my business. And suddenly, from 2 people thinking at the level of ownership, there were 17 people thinking at the level of ownership. And so when 17 people think at the level of ownership, what do you think happens? You know, business just goes another. So one of the big things we did was change the whole culture, or I did, was change the whole culture in my business. And it became a very conscious, community, family-oriented culture, but we never lost sight of the bottom line. So it's not all woo-woo stuff. You have to obviously check your bottom line as well, that's going. But I took the focus of making money and I put it on my people. And I really added value to them. And so one of my main aims was, I want you to come to work because you want to come to work, not because you have to come to work. So what can we do in this workplace that's going to actually make you want to come to work? You know what I mean? And I got my people to come up with ideas. So I threw it back into them. I said, since I'm not the only one here, now there's 17 of us, come up with ideas. And together, collectively, we created this amazing workplace culture where people actually started thinking at the level of ownership. And so, yeah, that was one of the big things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
and of course, always sharing. You're always sharing and communicating. You know, you all never get out of monologue and into dialogue. And you do that so well, Kel. I mean, right now you're doing it, you know. You're always in dialogue with people. So you get out of your head, which we try to ruminate and try and work things out ourselves. And, you know, just in your head, you can't work things out. And we're social creatures. So you want to get out of monologue and into dialogue with other people. And the more conversations you have in your life with people, the more perspectives you get, the more knowledge you get, the more, you know, somebody will tell you, oh, I know somebody else who can do that. And, you know, so it's all about being out there, having conversations with people, getting social, building your social capital as well. That's another thing that I do in community. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
You answered my question ages ago, but that's so fine. Now, you're no longer in that business because you're no longer with your husband.
Correct.
So, and just before we go ahead there was a time in your business where you nearly lost everything.
Yes.
Can we just highlight that little area there and how you regained it all back again, please?
Yeah, so that was like what I just shared with you before. We almost went broke in the year 2000. My husband thought that we could change the product mix, which we did. And we also started advertising a lot, which was something that a lot of people would do. That's like a natural, you know, thing. Let's advertise more and get more people in to discover what our product is. But what really flipped it was creating this great culture in our business where people suddenly all our sick leave disappeared. People didn't take sick leave. People didn't even want to take holiday leave. The culture changed. I had a bigger why for the business.
Yeah.
And what else can I say? I created win-win situations for people. So whether it was our suppliers, whoever I dealt with, Kel, there was always a win-win situation. Everybody in business became a stakeholder. So it's called the stakeholder model. And these are, by the way, if there are 4 principles of conscious capitalism. Have I ever shared them with you?
You have. You did.
Yeah, I hadn't. I was working on those 4 principles without me realizing it. So the first principle was higher purpose. What's the higher purpose? So what's your big why? And you discover that. And then the second one is a stakeholder model, which is you create win-win situations for everyone. So our suppliers, our staff, you make sure that so business became a positive sum game, not a zero sum game, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so everybody is a stakeholder in the business and nobody is any higher or lower. It's like a wheel, you know, all the spokes on the wheel are the same length. You take one spoke out and the wheel won't turn well. So
Yeah.
everybody is equally, and you treat people like that. So that was one of the big things when I changed my whole thinking from business being a top-down structure to business being circular and treating my people as if they were family members and getting them to really contribute and step into themselves, like tapping into the wisdom of the crowd. That's another concept that I used.
Yeah, so it's like what was the word I was using? A cooperative.
Yes, you people start to cooperate with each other rather than compete with each other in the workplace. I mean, you look at any of the big corporates, they're always competing with each other. It's like, you know, cutting off people at the, you know what I mean? They're very cutthroat in big business. And that's not a sustainable model at all. So we were not designed to, you know, compete. We were designed to cooperate. Nature cooperates. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So you're no longer in that business. You well over 10 years ago started a coaching business.
Correct.
You're not in that coaching business now, and please share with us what you were doing in your lovely world.
Okay. Well, I started off when I finished with Luggage Direct. I was not quite sure what I wanted to do with my life because I knew what I didn't want to do. I knew that I didn't want to be in retail, but I loved the model of how I started working in business, and so I wanted to find out what I loved doing, and I had no idea what I loved. So I did coaching for some time because people told me that since you've done business so well, you'll be a good coach. And so I did a bit of coaching, and that's when I met you, I think. And then I did something called the passion test, which actually helped me discover what I was passionate about, which I then became a facilitator for. So I ran quite a few workshops to help people discover what they were passionate about. Because if you do what you love doing and you're able to monetize that, well, you know, you make a difference wherever you go just because you're happy. If you are happy, then every person you interact with gets a little bit of your happiness, and you create this ripple effect. So it's really great to find out what you're passionate about and monetize it. Yeah. But and then I did that for a little while, and then I invested in cryptocurrencies through a friend of mine, whom I met through my community work that I was doing in Wollongabba. And I did really well with cryptocurrencies. And so now I get to do what I really love doing, which is building community. And I'm a part of a few different community projects here in Maruka. And I just love building strong, connected neighborhoods. I think that's, it's just a way forward. We need to just get everything to be it has to be local. I mean, look what COVID's done. It's forcing us to be local, you know. Whether we like it or not, we can't really we can't travel much for starters. Our families, even if they are in another state, you can't be in contact with them. So who becomes your family? The people that are in your closest proximity, which is your neighborhood. Yeah. You know, you reach out to your people that are closest to you. So it's always been my passion, and it's COVID-19 has made it really easy for me to build community. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, Kel. I just love it. Yeah.
So what's the topic of your community project that you have currently?
At the moment, it's called this one, which came out of COVID-19, is called is hashtag driveway dinners or curbside dinners. But somebody else recently told me they're going to do balcony dinners because they live in apartments and they all overlook the central garden. So she's going to start hashtag balcony dinners at 5 o'clock every evening. They're going to come out on their balconies and have their dinners together. Isn't that amazing?
That is.
Well,
cool.
Yeah, so what we do here in Salisbury is curbside dinners, hashtag curbside dinners. So every Sunday evening, people bring their dinners out onto their driveways on a table, have them 1 hour. It's a 1 hour pop up, and we chat across the road. There's enough of distance there, and it's really quite amazing. So people get to you know, look out for each other. They get to see other social people. It's not just and there's something to look forward to. I mean, it's so crazy, but you look forward to having dinner on your driveway.
Who would have thought?
I know, that's like crazy, right? I mean, it's so simple. It's such a simple thing. And yet people get so excited to just come out on their driveway. You know, we don't really need that much, do we?
No. So curbside dinners.
Hashtag curbside dinners.
Hashtag curbside dinners. You were on ABC radio yesterday, or was it the day before?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. And did I see that there was an article in the paper?
There was a big article in the paper, in the Courier Mail, but we were also on Channel 7 and Channel 9. And sneak preview, Channel 9, A Current Affair came yesterday and filmed us on our street. So they're going to be airing that probably this week sometime.
Oh my gosh, I'm talking to a film star.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it's just a novel idea, and the news likes to, they like to highlight that, and it's a little bit of good news. It's a good news story compared to all the negative stuff that we hear all the time. Well, it's not negative, but it's what's happening in the world. So
yeah. So you mentioned that you're doing a little bit of crypto and that it's done you well. Was that just did you get into crypto knowing that you were going to do well, or did you not know anything about crypto and then you just trusted? And what was that new venture for you going?
Yeah, well, so crypto, and you know quite a bit about crypto yourself, Kel. Yeah. So I understand crypto. I do understand it. I wouldn't just put a considerable amount of my savings into it, but I understand it really well. It's simply, blockchain is nothing else but community. So it's it's a blockchain as a whole, but it's distributed ledger system basically, and it's again taking out the hierarchy. What I did was take out the hierarchy in my business and made it community. So everyone is at the same level, and it's peer to peer, right? So I invited my staff to contribute to the business. That's what blockchain is that everybody is, it's a distributed ledger system. There's no hierarchy. Nobody's in control. It's what blockchain is, a digital version of what I do in the physical.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I really understood it, and I see it as a way forward for humanity. And that's why I do my community work, because we were not designed to be this rugged individual people trying to make it on our own. We were designed to cooperate and work with each other and build communities, and yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. You heard that one?
Yeah, I heard that one a lot.
Yeah. So we were designed to thrive in communities, and that's what blockchain does. It really facilitates that, and it totally is the future. I don't have any doubt about it. But it's a complete paradigm shift in the way we operate currently in the world, because everything at the moment, and has always been for as long as we know it, has been centralized and controlled, whereas blockchain is decentralization. So it puts the power into the hands of people, which is what community is. So yep. It's power back to the people. We have very exciting times, Kel, whenever there's a paradigm, the nature of blockchain or the nature of any paradigm shift is volatility. When the earth was flat and the earth was round scenario, people got killed at the stake when somebody said, oh, the earth was round. What was his name? Galileo, wasn't he the one that said, yeah, earth was round? And it was like blasphemy. How could the earth can't be round? I mean, you'd fall off it if it was round. It was crazy when he proposed that. But same thing is now. The current systems don't want decentralization, because it'll take their power away. And that's all there is to it. And so volatility is basically the nature of a paradigm shift, and you've got to expect it. And it's part and parcel of how it's going to pan out. And then cryptocurrencies will definitely reign. That's my view. And I'm pretty sure it can't be controlled, and it can be manipulated to some extent, but it can't be stopped.
Yeah.
I think we've crossed a tipping point.
Yes, I believe so. So covered that you've been in business for 22 years,
mm-hmm.
You then stepped into your own coaching business,
mm-hmm.
and now you are doing heavy, a lot of community work, and just really nurturing your passion of coming together in community in more ways than one.
Yes.
So what's next for you?
I'm a grandmother, as you know. I've got 2 little grandchildren, but I'm also now in a relationship with a lovely gentleman. So that's quite an exciting thing for me. But I don't know that, well, I kind of live, for me, community is a big, big thing, Kellen. It'll always be like, it's almost like the biggest thing in my life. Like it's the most important thing in my life, building community, and I take it quite seriously. But I want to be a speaker. I love speaking, and I did do a little bit of speaking, and I do still speak every now and then.
Yeah.
Not as a paid speaker, but as a voluntary speaker, and I should do some paid speaking, but I don't. But I'd love to speak on community. I've spoken on many different other topics. I've spoken on conscious capitalism. I've spoken on spiritual concepts. But I would like to speak on, I've spoken a few times on community, but not to a big audience, like smaller groups of people. But yes, speaking is something that I would certainly like to go into, and I love it. I really love speaking. So that's definitely a possibility. And thanks for asking the question.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So you're in the process of building a beautiful home.
Yes, an eco home.
It's an eco home. Do you want to share a little bit about, you know, the design and development around that?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to build an eco home. And I found a really lovely block of land in Maruka where I live. And it was an older home of a lady who'd lived there for like 80 years, and she passed away. And so I was really lucky because the real estate agent who had the home for sale, I knew her. And so it didn't even get on the market. She just showed it to me and I really liked it. It was a corner block, quite a big block, 873 square meters. And we're using every part of the home. So we're not demolishing it, we're dismantling it. I've got an architect involved, and he's an eco-architect. And he's designed a really lovely, lovely home. It's fully sustainable. So it's got 3 big water tanks, 30,000 liter water tanks. It's got solar panels galore, a Tesla battery. We've got thermal mass walls inside the house, big, big louver windows, 5-meter ceilings. It's like a little mini church, but it's not a big house.
Yeah.
It's a small footprint, but it's really high. So it'll have a lot of volume, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And a really big deck, because I love the outdoors and I do have community gatherings. And of course, there'll be place to do the gardening and all of that.
Yeah, so when I met you, I think I was invited to a New Year's Eve party at your house at Woolloongabba, and you had one of the biggest decks I've ever seen. It was like a split level with the pool and all open. So I cannot wait to see your new home.
That was, somebody asked me today actually, because I told them I was with you doing this interview today, and he said to me, how did you meet Kelly? And I had to actually think about it, and I said, she came to a New Year's Eve party to my house with Ron. You remember Ron?
Corporate Ninja.
Who's that?
The Corporate Ninja.
Yes, that's who it was, the Corporate Ninja, yeah.
Yes.
That was so funny. I remember that you came and we just got on. I remember the first time we just got on from day one.
We did, definitely.
We laughed so much. And then for my 50th birthday, do you know, I still have those
headbands?
Yes. I still have those headbands your kids made for me. They're so cute. They're so cute. I've still got them.
We made those. We made them as a homeschooling project when I was living out in Kalani.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they're gorgeous. I don't have the heart to give them away because they're so pretty. I said, I'm going to use them sometime. And whenever I see them, I think of you. They were really cute. I know your kids made them, so and it was perfect. But yeah, no. Yeah, so that's my eco home. It's going to be it'll start getting built pretty soon. It's out with the builders getting quotes at the moment. So it's a very exciting year for me, actually.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. So for anyone that is watching that is in business that's struggling or you know, is just starting business, what would you say to them?
If they were starting business, I would ask them to absolutely determine the big why of their business. Why are they doing what they're doing? And really, you've got to keep asking the question, why am I doing this, or to provide this service to so-and-so, but why am I doing that to provide the service? And you keep asking the question why back, or they can go and listen to a clip by Simon Sinek, who talks about finding out your why. You can Google it, because if you know what the why is of your business, and it's often something much bigger than you think it is. It's not money. Money is a byproduct of your why. You will make money if you find out your why, because your why will sustain you when times are down. When your starting off a business can be quite lonely as well, Kel, as you know. And sometimes you get down, and sometimes people, 90%, 80% of businesses, I think, go broke in their first year.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your big why, that's one thing, is have your big why, discover what that is, why you go into business, and then share it with people and get your support network of people around you. And like do it with other solopreneurs. If you're a solopreneur, I would say be part of some meetup, mastermind, something to bounce ideas, share ideas, get out of monologue into dialogue with people. Don't think you can make it on your own, because you can't. And really go and tap into the knowledge of other people, but always be out there with people and build your social capital.
Yeah.
That's a big part of building business, is building social capital as well,
Yeah, they say your net worth, your network is your net worth.
Yeah. For I coined a new quote for myself, which I should really put my name to it, but it's: the quality of my life is directly proportionate to the quality and quantity of my relationships.
Yeah.
Not just quality of my relationships, but quality and quantity of my relationships. So gone are the days where, we used to say, if you've got one good friend, you're lucky. But you have to go out there and actually make the effort to build relationships, Kelly. On an everyday basis, I'll talk to about 5 people every single day. I'll make a phone call or I'll meet somebody, but I'm always connecting with people. And that's one of the biggest lessons of my life, was I had let myself get isolated. And that's why I'm such a big community person. Life doesn't work for you when you're alone. You have to be out there in community. You have to connect. And if you do that parallel to working on your business, suddenly, our lives work better in community. There's no two ways about it.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So do you have any last words for any of our viewers that are watching our video?
Yeah, just make sure that you love and you're passionate about what you do. That's another big one, because if you don't love what you're doing, if money is your only benchmark for why you're doing what you're doing, then don't do it, because it's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. Yeah. I can't put a bigger emphasis on your why. And I remember Rumi, one of Rumi's famous quotes, he said, there's a candle in your heart waiting to be lit. There is a void in your soul waiting to be filled. You feel it, don't you? And I really love that, because until you light up inside of you, you can't carry that passion out into the world and make a difference out there and engage other people in what you're doing. And you need other people to build a business. You can't leverage your business by yourself. You need people. There's no two ways about it, So community and people and relationships and social capital, and out of monologue into dialogue.
And a tribe and a community and I hear you.
Yeah. And your big why, that's a very big thing. Very, very important. And your why will always be in some way going to contribute to a better world, Kel.
Yeah.
You'll always have that. If you found your why, if your why is going to make this world a better place.
Yeah. So I just share this with you. I think it was yesterday, or could be the day before, because my days are just running in and out of each other these days. And it said something about what is your biggest dream for your world, or for the world, or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And the first thing that came to me was to raise the love vibration of our planet.
Yeah.
And, so many different things after that came, but the first thing that hit me is because do you know what?
You're cutting off. You just cut off. I didn't hear that last bit.
Okay. And it was all about connecting, networking, building communities. And so to me, sometimes I ended up getting a little bit lost because I didn't know what my why was. Like I didn't know who I was in so many different areas. And once I found it, and I found it within my book and getting my book out there and getting everything. But over and above that, now that I found it, my big why is raising that love frequency. And once we start raising that love frequency, oh my gosh, the connections and the people just like oozes out of you with, I don't know, it's just crazy. And I love it. And I love it so much. And I love you for coming on tonight.
Thank you. And I just very quickly end on that. When you spoke about love, that was the main reason why I did business, was just it was Luggage Direct. On the outside of our building was Luggage Direct warehouse prices open to the public. But in my head, it was Luggage Direct building people through business. And so all I did, Kel, every single day was every person I interacted with, and this flowed on with the staff as well. They learned to do that, is to look at every person that came in front of you as an opportunity to spread love.
Yeah.
Every person that comes in front of you is an opportunity to spread love. And you touched on that just now so beautifully. So, and then you just can't be down, and you can't, because you get so lit up when you want to make a difference and spread love. You know what I mean? It's infectious.
It's like when you're walking down the road and you see people coming in front of you and they've got their heads down and they're looking.
Yeah.
And then you go, hi, how are you?
It's as simple as that. It really is. It's as simple.
They're waiting for somebody to notice them, waiting for somebody to say hello to them, somebody to engage with them, and it's so lovely.
Yeah.
I do. I get off. They're going, are you talking to me? I'm saying, yeah, how are you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, too funny.
Well, it was really lovely being with you, Kel.
Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm so glad. I know you're a busy woman and you have Damien at home, but it's been always a pleasure. You make my heart sing and my belly wobble because we laugh
so much. I know, we do. It's been, I just can't wait to give you. I'm having withdrawal symptoms, not hugging people over here. Really am. It's terrible.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I can't wait for COVID-19 to finish, because people won't know what hit them when I hug them next.
Thank you so much, beautiful. You stay there and we'll have a chat after our show. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. I hope that tonight that you got something from the interview with Carolyn today, expressing what really, really makes you sing, your heart glow, and that big why of why you're doing what you're doing, okay? If you are stuck in your business and you don't know what to do or who to ask, reach out to somebody on Facebook, message me, see who's out there that are doing things that are being sustainable, and just reach, because it only takes one question and it could be a short answer that solves all your answers to everything that you're currently doing. So thank you for tuning in, and this episode has been brought to you by the Wellness Business Academy, the Global Crypto College, and Spiritual Events and Directory. And from me to you, have a beautiful evening. I love you all. Take care. And I'll see you all next Monday. Bye for now.